Welcome to another CBA Level 3 Grille coaching session. This session presumes that you've already made at least one bottom tool blank, and that's been covered in a previous coaching session. The focus of this particular session is to make that bottom tooling required for the central collar material. The central collar material, as shown in the drawing, has some piping running horizontally along the middle of the collar. For me, the size of piping is your choice. I'm going to be using 1/4 inch or 6mm half round. Get your blank hot and create a half round groove of the desired size in the top face. I'm using a short length of rod, but a handheld or a top fuller works just fine. Sink the rod down so that it's level with the top surface of the block. That's me using 6mm. If you're using something bigger, you might not want to go that deep. As we'll be feeding the stock in when we're using this swage, there's no room for sharp edges. I'm using the rod here to clean up the chamfer and the ends of the depression, and then the sides I'm going to clean up with a hot rasp or file it when it's cold. If you've got a round file, I'm going to encourage you to clean up the bottom of the depression as well while you're there. Get rid of any scale marks. For a basic collar, I use a length of 5/8 of an inch or 18mm square. Get the square bar hot and place one corner into the depression. Make sure you're holding it corner above a corner. Drive the bar into the bottom swage. Don't go all the way, just drive it in and then start to feed it through. I'm aiming for a 5 or 6 inch long length of partially forged collar material. And then I'm going to ask you to dress the edges to square. Repeat the process. Drive the material into the swage, allowing it to spread at the top surface, and then dress the edges, and then repeat, of course. Stop when the top strap measures about 1/4 inch or 6mm thick. The hope is, of course, that the piping is central on the collar material. If you're just making one collar, then you've almost finished, unless you've got to clean up the collar to reposition the piping material. I use this particular collar material often enough that I want a more purpose-built bottom swage, and so I'm carrying on a step further with my tooling. With the collar material cold but with the block hot, I'm going to drive the collar material into the block. This presumes that you've filed the edges of the collar material to center the piping, so the piping is right in the middle at this stage. Again, use the collar material to chamfer the ends of the depression. And then you're going to clean up the results with your files. Why do I go the extra step? Well, you'll have noticed if you stopped earlier that your piping may not have been centered along the collar stock, forcing you to do some cleanup. By creating a full depression now, I am constraining all future collar stock, and it will automatically place the piping in the middle of the bar. Then I want you to case harden the swage. I used cherry red as a case hardening compound, which is basically heat to orange or austenite. Apply the compound, which is either going to comprise of a carbon or a nitrogen base. That material is going to burn and become a gas, so a nitride or a carbon gas, and then that gas is going to be reabsorbed into the top surface of the block. Reheat the block back to an austenitic state and then quench in water. That's going to harden that outer surface. There's no need to temper. Case hardening is like a plain M&M hard candy. It's coated on the outside with a much softer inner. That marks the end of this particular coaching session. I'll see you in the next one.